Hello everybody, it's Jurassiczilla here, and in this video we're gonna be talking about this new Monsterverse movie, and which kaiju's gonna be the villain. So, if you haven't heard yet, they're making a sequel to Godzilla vs. Kong. It's not Godzilla vs. Kong 2, but it's going to be the next movie in the Monsterverse. Basically, this is going to be another team-up movie with Godzilla and Kong, and they're going to fight a colossal titan, and it's going to be a hidden threat within our world. So I'm going to be giving my thoughts to what kaiju this could possibly be. Alright, so first up on the list, I have Biolante. The reason I picked Biolante because in the plot description, it says a colossal titan. Biolante is normally pretty big. And also, it actually would make a lot of sense. Because let's say Biolante is in the Hollow Earth, she already exists. They'll probably have to change her origins because Biolante is supposed to have Godzilla's DNA mixed with a plant, mixed with like a dead girl or something like that. But let's say Biolante is in the Hollow Earth, and then Godzilla's out here ruling and doing all of his stuff, and then maybe Biolante is mad at Godzilla because Godzilla isn't killing off the humans. And maybe Biolante wants to kill the humans because they're mad that humans are cutting down the forest and doing really bad to the planet. And Biolante is made out of plants and stuff, so maybe Biolante just wants a world where all the trees are still good and the planet's just really healthy, and humans are the one ruining it. So maybe Biolante decides to challenge Godzilla in order to take over the world, and Biolante would be the new ruler of the Titans. And maybe Biolante actually does really good against Godzilla, and like maybe Godzilla needs Kong help to defeat him or something, or defeat her or something like that. Honestly, I think that could make a lot of sense, and it can be a really good lesson for the Monsterverse and how like humans are like kind of messing up the world and like destroying the rainforest and all that type of stuff. Honestly, it could really work. My only problem with Biolante is that she's pretty stationary. Biolante isn't really much of a mover. She's more of just like a sit in one place and use her like tentacle plant things to like attack Godzilla and stuff. And if Godzilla and Kong are teaming up to fight Biolante, I feel like the fight would be mostly about Godzilla shooting his atomic breath, blowing up the vines, and maybe Kong's like cutting them off. I mean, I feel like they might be able to kill Biolante pretty easily, at least easier than with Mechagodzilla. But who knows, in the Monsterverse they can always make Biolante stronger, maybe even give her new powers if they wanted to. But yeah, who really knows? Next up on the list we have Destroya. And before you guys in the comments say, oh, it's too early for Destroya, just let me explain first. Godzilla vs. Destroya came out in 1995. And Destroya was basically fighting Burning Godzilla. We've already seen Burning Godzilla in the Monsterverse in Godzilla King of the Monsters 2019. So we know Destroya is very strong. And I understand if you introduce him now, it kind of feels like the last movie, because Destroya really is like the last big kaiju that they would have to fight. Just like in the Heisei movie, that was the last Heisei movie with Godzilla vs. Destroya. We don't know if the Monsterverse is going to continue after this. We never got any confirmation yet that they will make another movie after this next movie. So who knows, what if this is possibly the last Monsterverse movie we get? Or what if this next movie upcoming doesn't do too well to the point where they can't really make another one and decides to do something else? We don't know. So if they were to use Destroya, it would kind of make sense, but it would possibly mean this is the last Monsterverse movie. Personally, I think they should save it, but who knows, they don't know if they're gonna continue. Even with Godzilla vs. Kong, Adam Wingard said that if Godzilla vs. Kong did well, they would continue the Monsterverse and make another movie. So what if this next upcoming movie doesn't do well? What if they're not able to continue? We never get a chance to see Destroya. And remember, in the plot description, it does say Colossal Titan that's undiscovered. And it could mean that Destroya is like, he starts off as like a crab crustacean creature, and he's like underwater and stuff, constantly evolving, so it makes sense why he is undiscovered. and the Oxygen Destroyer was supposed to create him in the first place, and we already had the Oxygen Destroyer in 2019. Even though it was technically a prototype and not the official thing, they could still use that as the reason why Destroyer was created. And basically Destroyer, well, it's in his name. He just wants to destroy stuff. I don't know, to me it kind of makes sense because it's a colossal titan. Destroyer is pretty huge, but it says that the titan has something to do with the history, at least in the plot description. That's what it's kind of getting at. And it wouldn't make sense because Destroyer wasn't there millions of years ago if he was just now made. Unless Destroyer was like actually there, maybe the Oxygen Destroyer just made him even stronger or something like that. I can definitely see that happening, but I don't know. Honestly, if they know they're going to continue the Monsterverse and they know that this upcoming movie isn't going to be the last movie, then save Destroyer and leave him for the end. That way you can get other titans. Maybe like you can bring in Gears back, you can bring Rodan, Mothra, all of them fighting Destroyer. Maybe even Gamera. I've always wanted a Gamera solo movie after the 2015 movie was cancelled. Always wanted a Gamera solo movie, and for him to be in the Monsterverse, it would work pretty well. Alright, and my final one on this list is Gigant. And the reason I picked Gigant is because, you know, we've seen Gigant in plenty of other movies before, but I feel like the Monsterverse now is a really good time to bring him in. We've already had Ghidorah, who was an alien, so we do know aliens exist in the Monsterverse. So why not bring in Gigant? But instead of bringing in Gigant, like right now, just making him come down from space just wanting to destroy stuff, they do say this new like villain titan has something to do with the history. So maybe Gigant, kind of like Ghidorah, came down millions of years ago, fought Godzilla, and then maybe is in his like, not really cocoon state, but he's like trapped in like rubble and stuff like that. And then when the humans are going down in the Hollow Earth exploring with Kong, since that's what the end of Godzilla vs. Kong led to, maybe they find Gigant, accidentally awaken him, and Gigant's just going crazy and just destroying a whole bunch of stuff. Maybe Godzilla and Gigant get their fight, and then, you know, they fight, maybe Godzilla gets really beat up and stuff to the point where he gets really messed up. Maybe Kong's still in the Hollow Earth, just kind of doing his own thing, not really caring too much. And then maybe Godzilla goes down to the Hollow Earth and basically tells Kong that, hey, he needs help because Gigant's like destroying a whole bunch of stuff, kind of like Ghidorah. And maybe Godzilla and Kong team up against Gigant, they have a big epic fight somewhere, and then they win, I guess. Honestly, out of these three options, I'm really hoping that Gigant's the one to be in it, because personally it just makes sense, especially if they're going to continue the Monsterverse. Get someone like Gigant, who's not like insanely strong like Destroyer or anything, but is still really strong, like especially to Kong. He's got that eye laser, he's got the claw hands, maybe even the chainsaw hands if they want to go there. He can cut up Kong and even Godzilla and hurt them pretty badly, make them bleed a lot. So I feel like it would be such a brutal and epic fight if they brought Gigant in. That's why I personally want him the most out of these three. I would say my only problem with Gigant is the reason why he's like doing what he does, because if they got Biolante, you can have the story of Biolante's mad at the humans for destroying the world, so Biolante wants to destroy all the humans and stuff. Destroy, you can have the backstory of just Destroyer just wants to destroy things, it's in his name, that's what he wants to do. Maybe like how Ghidorah wanted to reform the planet and like be the king, maybe Destroyer just wants to destroy all of the titans or destroy all monsters. But Gigant, I don't really know what his big like plan would be. Does he want to take over the world? I mean, he was apparently sent down from aliens. We could even see the Exilians in this new Monsterverse movie if they use Gigant or something like that. But maybe the Exilians want to take over the Earth and they know they're not strong enough to do it because they have all these monsters on Earth, so they send down stuff like Ghidorah and Gigant, maybe even like Space Godzilla if they go that route or something like that. And maybe they're just trying to take over the world, or maybe the last Monsterverse movie would be like Destroyer doing stuff. Maybe the Exilians come down just trying to take over the world. I don't really know. But I feel like something like that could really work, and Gigant just makes a whole lot of sense to come in. But the only other thing is if they make a new Titan. It's 100% possible, instead of buying the rights to something like Gigant and paying all that money, you could just make up your own Titan. Come out with these crazy powers, make them as strong as you want, cool design, give them a really cool name, a cool roar, cool powers. I mean, they could also do that. That would also make a lot of sense, because then you can make an enemy that's would be able to fight Godzilla and Kong together instead of something like Gigant, who's more of like a Godzilla villain rather than a Kong villain, you know? But yeah, that's gonna be all for today. Do you think they're gonna use a Toho kaiju, or do you think they're gonna make up a brand new kaiju? Personally, I think Gigant is a really good option, probably the best option out of any of the monsters. So I honestly think it's rather gonna be Gigant, or they're gonna make up a new monster. Destroyer, don't get me wrong, that would be awesome, but if they are continuing the Monsterverse after this movie, then use Destroyer on one of the last movies. And then Biolante could always be Biolante. Who knows? They could even do Biolante and Gigant if they wanted to. I don't think they will, but you know. But just remember, it does say colossal undiscovered threat, and Gigant isn't really like the biggest Godzilla monster. I wouldn't necessarily consider him colossal. But I don't know. Leave your thoughts in the comments, and as always, have a great Godzilla day.